Hey everyone, just finished up Randy's Mustang. I figured I'd do another little update video on this thing. So I'll go over some of the stuff that we did, some of the stuff that I've changed since the last video. So we had the charge pipe, a nipple on the bottom side of the charge pipe welded in for a Rife high intake air temp sensor. So that's in there. We also pulled the dry sump tank and put a Rife liquid oil temp sensor in there, so we're using that as a coolant temp channel since this car doesn't have any coolant in it. So if you wanted to do any type of offsets based off of temperature, you can with oil temp. So coils are done, made a set of spark plug wires for it. These are Moroso Ultra 40 wires. I use these on all the canted valve small block Fords because this boot is actually made for this cylinder head. So it fits in there like perfect. This cylinder head was actually really nice. So, I mean, you barely even have to look. So there's a couple things that are left unplugged right now. This is for his headlights, and I'll show you that in a second. It's attached to the front end, made it a little easier for him to get the front clip on and off the car. This is for his front shock sensor. I've got him some mounting brackets, but he's gonna have to do a little bit of fabrication to mount it. Other than that, you know, just your basic, 2,000 plus horsepower small block Ford turbo deal. We plumbed the whole thing CO2 wise. The plumbing for the dry sump and fuel system was already done, but we plumbed the CO2. So we've got a dome pressure sensor right on top of the gate, and I'm using, push lock with a high temp sleeving over top of it. And then there's a bulkhead here in the firewall. This was an existing hole. That's why there's a washer there, but this existing hole, I reused it. And then I just put a T here, fed one gate this way, one gate that way. So if you ever had to pull anything apart, it should be pretty easy. So coils are all done and all labeled and whatnot. I've got a timing light sitting there because we're gonna fire this thing up and see if we can't get it to start. So in all fairness, I did already crank this thing over to confirm cranking timing. So there's already been a little bit of fuel pressure built. So if it starts up ridiculously fast, don't blow up my inbox going, man, how'd you make that happen? This isn't like there's already fuel ran up in there because I did have to prime it already in essence. So speaking of priming, he's got this nice Peterson oil systems primer. So this is a remote filter housing. You just run a drill on this, a 7/16, and it will prime your oil system. This is awesome. It actually makes about 80 pounds of oil pressure with a Milwaukee M18 drill. If you use a DeWalt drill, it'll probably only make about 10, but with a Milwaukee, you get about 80 pounds. So in the car, what we did was, so everything's done. The dash is not on the car, so there's a few things that are not attached, like for the steering wheel, because I got him a Motion Raceworks quick disconnect to get rid of the 6-way disconnect. He wanted one, so I got him one, and I didn't want to attach this to the steering column yet because I didn't know if they were going to have to pull the steering column out. And then those are the plugs here hanging for the IQ3 dash. So I obviously can't plug that in and be able to show you what we did underneath the dash. So CO2 is all plumbed to the shifter, back to the CO2 tank, up here to the boost control solenoids. So solenoids are right here. Dominator, EGTs, G meter, smart wire, profiler, whole 9 yards. Pro 600's up under here. So when you put the dash on this thing, you can't see anything, so which is what the goal was. We were talking about the headlights before. So what we did was I built a headlight harness, and it's all attached to the framework of the front end. And then it comes up here. It's attached with these little holders I have here. And then this is the plug that goes in for the headlights. So you just, with the hood off, you just click, click. And if you don't have if you want to keep the hood on and the car's not super slammed, you can reach up or turn the steering wheel. You can reach up and reach it between the fender and the wheel. So let's see if we can get it to fire up. So it is, you know, battery's fully charged and all that. So, but if it fires up, it's gonna be really loud. So, you know, we won't be able to really hear much, but you'll be able to hear this thing, you know, make some noise. So, all right, let's see if it fires up. And I'm just gonna use, these are bump buttons up underneath the hood. So, if this is for checking valve lash, but the car has to be in park or neutral in order for these to work. Same thing with the overhead button. But let's see if it fires up. All right, so it fired right up, kind of figured. So tune-up that's in it is what they ran prior with the old engine combo. So it's a little rich when you supply enough amperage capacity to the injectors. They tend to work a little bit better. So it's quite a bit richer than it was, but that's an easy fix. So overall, this thing's ready to rock and roll. Randy's got a to-do list from us. Every time we wire a car, we give everybody a to-do list. So, you know, they'll just have to button up a few things, you know, so obviously, you know, put doors on it and a seat in it and whatnot, you know, a windshield. So, this is something I probably forgot to show you, but we put this little USB bulkhead in here. So the top one is for the ECU, and the bottom one is for the profiler. So, you know, you put a little cap on there. That way you ain't got cords dangling all over the place and, you know, kind of making a mess all over the floor. So, well, there she is, folks. Hope you enjoyed. See ya.